Oh no, Mr. Root gave us another homework, and again we got to read a document and answer the questions and take notes. How are we supposed to do that? Well, I'm here to show you. This tutorial is to help you understand how it is that two-column notes are a good way to take notes, better than an outline. Outlines are great for planning a paper, an essay, but nothing is better than taking notes in two-column notes. And the reason it's great is because you have an already built-in study tool. You already have flashcards made by the time you're done. So I'm going to use this document that we study Han China, when we compare Han China to ancient Athens, as the example of how to take two-column notes. So I'm going to set this aside for a second, and I'm going to take a regular piece of paper, and I'm going to fold it in half. And the reason I'm going to fold it in half is because I'm making two columns, and it makes it easy to flip back and forth when I want to study. And so on this side, you got to think of these two halves of the paper, just like you would the front and the back side of flashcards. So on this side, you'd have like a question, or you'd have a term you need to define. So this side, you would have the answer, or you'd have the definition. Okay? Now I use a lot of abbreviations when I take notes. And that's important because it saves space, because this method of taking notes does take a lot of space. It doesn't mean you write a lot, you actually leave a lot of blank space. So then I'm going to go, even before I read my document, I'm going to go down to the bottom, because on every reading assignment I give you guys, I always put some guiding questions. And so I want to go ahead and use those questions to populate this questions column. And the first one is, what do you think the main idea, what is the main idea of the first saying? Okay, so we're going to go ahead and write that question down. Main idea of first saying. And now I'm going to leave about 2 inches of space, and I'm going to go down to my next question, which is the second question here. Do you think Pericles would have agreed? So I'll go down here. Would Pericles agree? Okay? And then I'm going to go down to 2, and it's says, regarding obeying the law, would Socrates be more or less likely to agree with Straightbody or Confucius? Okay. I'm going to go ahead. I left 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, just to keep it consistent. Would Socrates, oops, let's see, agree with Straightbody or Confucius? Okay. And then the third question, create a thesis statement that compares Athenian and Chinese thinking about the role of the individual in matters of state government. So I'm just going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4. Athens versus Confucius regarding government. Alright. Then it asks, based on the evidence of the previous documents, does there seem to be a fundamental difference? So I can go ahead and just put that in there. So now I've just taken my guiding questions and I put them in there. And now I know what it is I'm looking for when I go back to read. Now I'm not done. As I read through, if somebody, if there are any questions I wonder, or if there's some words or ideas I'm confused by, I need to put them in questions here. Even if I don't get an answer for them, that way the next day in class I can ask Mr. Root what it is that I need to know, or if this is important, or what the answer is. So now we're going to turn to the document. And I have one already. I've heard people talk about Confucius, but I don't know who he is. So I'm going to go ahead. 1, 2, 3, 4. Who is Confucius? Okay? And you know what? I'd probably, since I'm abbreviating Confucius, I need to put the title up here. Okay. Now, someone said to Confucius, "Why do you not take part in government?" The master, and the master is Confucius, said, "The book of history says, 'Oh, simply by being a good son and friendly to his brothers, a man can exert an influence upon government. In so doing, a man is, in fact, taking part in government. How can there be any question of his having actively to take part in the government?'" Well, that's the first saying. And remember, the first saying is saying to take care of neighbors is the most important role of a citizen. Okay. Now, would Pericles agree? Yeah, absolutely. Because he said, a citizen's business is everyone else's business. So he says that you do need to be aware of what's going on with your neighbors, and you need to make decisions based on not just what's best for you, but what's best for them. Okay? Now we haven't gotten to straight body yet, so let's keep reading. The governor of Shi said to Confucius, "In our village there is a man nicknamed Straight Body. When his father stole a sheep, he gave evidence against him." Confucius answered, "In our village, those who are straight are quite different. Fathers cover up for their sons, and sons cover up for their fathers. Straightness is to be found in such behavior." Okay. Would Socrates agree with Straight Body? I don't. Well, Socrates was put to death, and he accepted death even though it was unfair. Because he was trying to teach kids to question the authorities. And that education should be done by other people, not necessarily by the family. It should be done by those who are educated. So, Straight Body says they should cover up. And the official says that they should give evidence against them. I don't think so. So I'm going to put not sure. Okay? No, because he accepted the punishment of the democracy. But yes, because he says that individuals should challenge government. So we'd have to have a discussion about that to see what other people think. Okay, next one. Athens versus the Confucius. Here he finishes up. Fathers cover up for the sons, and sons cover up for their fathers. Straightness is to be found in such behavior. In Athens, everyone holds each other accountable. In China, Han China, the officials must prove someone is wrong. Okay, now I'm going to bring that question, who is Confucius, to Mr. Root tomorrow, and I'm going to call those notes done. Let me show you what you can do with them now. Whoops. So now I can study them, but because if I fold them like this, I can ask what's the main idea of the first saying, and then I can flip over and check the answer. But if you're like me, you'll cheat and look down the next level. So what I do is I make a blindfold that I fit over the top, and I hold it down here. And now when I study, I only see that one, and when I get over to here, I go down to here and ask the next one, think about it, check my answer, move on. So this works really well to study with. Okay, I hope that helps with taking notes. I'll talk to you guys later.